Rock with it. The Joker. All right, who here saw the Joker?
I have not.
I seen it.
You seen it?
I seen it.
I seen
You
it.
you haven't.
Yeah, I bailed on.
Oh, you were supposed to go.
Yeah,
with
we
him?
were
Yeah.
gonna go together.
I actually took a photo with the couple that was able to get those 2 tickets
Yeah.
that you abandoned on the night of the movie.
I
And
need to
told
see
them,
that.
I said, "Yo, my buddy couldn't come, and you guys are here to-" yeah,
Yeah, man.
All
They owe me.
they do.
They owe me.
They should pay for my next.
Yeah.
Yo, man,
Nah,
you
but-
really missed out.
Nah, I'm
So
gonna
it
go
was-
next weekend.
It was just you two,
Yo,
man.
It
So
was-
can you, without spoilers, can
Yeah.
you like draw out some things that like really stood out to you?
No
I know it's a
spoilers. Once
challenge.
again, no
I know I'm
spoilers.
challenging you. Is there anything that you could draw out of that thing? Like,
all right. So what I took out of it.
first of all,
most-
was it something that was triggering? Like, if you went, did you feel triggered by it? Because you know how they were saying, like,
I would say
Oh,
people who struggle with
Really?
mental illness
Might
could
not.
be triggered. Yeah.
really?
Yeah, I
Could
would
be,
say a
yeah.
little bit about that. I
Wow.
think he's
Could
on
be.
medications without being too spoilerish.
Okay. Obviously, he's, you know, the
Yeah.
character. He's
so
psychotic.
I think that if there are people who are medicated out there and they feel a certain way about society and how they're treated, they could walk away a little inspired to
Really?
fall out a little bit.
Really?
And what I'll say, what stood out to me the most, and it's basically a Christian perspective, but it's what stood out to me. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Mhm.
And what I felt they did an excellent job in is what would it look like for someone to 100% give in to their sinful
yeah.
nature?
Facts. You think of like Cain and Abel. You think of
Yeah.
Cain.
Yeah, that's
Like,
Cain
we
just
give into our
completely-
sinful
Yo,
nature
it's funny too
on
because he
things like,
said,
you know, like small things, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? On
Yeah.
every day. They're sinful and we need to
Right.
repent of that. But there's those certain cases like murder, you know, and stuff like that.
where you
Where
get
that's
to
a
that.
sin that they really had to dig
You
deep
snapped.
for.
Yeah.
You know? And this movie, I think they captured that. Like, what would it look like if someone really just said, you know what? I'm going to be the 100% version of my sinfulness.
Yeah.
No filter, no remorse, no kind of anything. Just, this is me, and that's all you're going to get.
It was like a sinful version of being set free.
yeah.
Like he was set free in the opposite
Wow.
That's
direction.
what I'm saying.
yeah.
He lived
Yeah.
And
in
you
the
kind of
sin.
understand
That's
it,
why I can't
right?
wait
You,
to
you
see it.
get what the
100%.
director's
'Cause-
trying to.
Yeah.
Louie and I are in the mental
It's
health.
crazy.
Oh,
field.
facts. Oh,
We're in the
okay.
mental health field,
Oh, this
so
is beautiful.
I got the ticket with the intention of like
Okay, because they
really
said it's a
dissecting
character
it.
study, right? Like this type of film is a character study. That's
Yeah.
what they said.
you know.
So,
So I,
it's
It could
really
be.
getting into the
that's what excites
psychology
me
of the character
about the movie. That's what really what I want to see.
Yeah,
There was definitely
Um,
an authenticity to it. Everything is
Yeah, bro.
totally possible
Yo,
based on his character.
very
Mm.
real.
But aside from that, I think that the director just did a fantastic job of putting a vibe together and
Yeah.
marrying it with everything that was written on the paper and giving it the right look and
Yeah.
to achieve the goal of
Definitely need the right
freaking
type of
everybody out.
mindset to see this movie. So this is not a push to go watch it or go. You know what I'm saying? This is not an endorsement.
yeah.
But I'm a fan of film.
Mhm.
I watched it because it was so highly talked about as a masterpiece.
Mhm.
Nobody really talked about it because of its violence or grittiness. What people said the most is that it was filmed and directed masterfully.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta see that. I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of film.
Yeah.
You can't tell me something.
Well, you're a
a
fan of
masterpiece.
film. You're a fan of Marvel. I mean, DC and comics, and you're a fan. Oh well, I'm a fan of psychological thrillers. I don't know if you are,
I'm
but it
not,
hits like everyone for me.
huge.
I'm like, yep.
I'm
yep,
not
yep,
a
yeah,
humongous
I have to
fan
see
of it.
Like,
But if it has a dope storyline,
Mhm.
I'm down with it. Like if it has a really good story that connects with me, like I can connect.
but
with
you
it,
didn't.
then I'm cool
okay.
with it. But like if it's just a psycho thriller, and sometimes those types of movies don't even make sense.
Sure.
They end, and you're like, what?
Yo, we could
A
do a
lot of
whole-
them just end in a way that you're just like, I don't understand what I just watched. But when they have a good story and they have an ending and a conclusion, I don't know.
That's
I can
because
follow
Gil
it
needs
easier.
the conclusion written out on like. Here it is.
Even if, all right, even
On a
if they
poster
left
board.
it open ended, where
Yeah.
it could be a part 2 or it could continue, I'm cool with that too. But
in the subtitles, it's like.
but I'm saying, like, if the movie is about
it's
a
the Cliff
murderer
Notes.
and he has this long line of murders, and then the movie ends of him smoking a cigarette,
Oh,
that's
man.
confusing. Like,
That's
okay,
Gil.
what happened? Did he get away? Did he get arrested?
Listen, we could do
Like, what happened?
a whole episode on just movies, especially if we got
Facts.
Louie here, bro.
No, there's everybody has input when it comes to film.
That's what, no,
because
but I'm,
everybody
Oh,
takes
that's
but I'm
so
something
saying.
true,
It'll be,
yeah.
everybody takes
I know we
something
can.
away from it. You know,
Yeah.
It'll be dope.
I
to do,
definitely
like,
saw.
That would
I
be
saw
sick.
that the director was definitely inspired by some older movies.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, Taxi Driver being one of them. Martin Scorsese all day. Like,
Yep.
you would have said he directed it. You could have believed it because it was very gritty, very very much Taxi Driver.
Mm.
The
You know,
slow
people
motion
can-
dance scenes, like all
Even
that.
the score was very Taxi Driver.
Wow.
Yeah, they, you know,
They thought of every aspect.
they went there. Yeah, they
Yeah.
went there.
What
That's
does
why they're
what does
saying it's
Louie
a
give it
masterpiece.
on the score 1 to 5?
Well, what do you?
1 to 5.
What would have you done differently as a director and a writer? Like,
Oh, man.
That's a good one.
Wow.
That's a
You
good
know,
one.
like,
I don't know.
That's a question.
were you
I don't
watching
think-
it like, no, not.
I didn't like
I wouldn't
that.
have done that.
I didn't like that.
No, I thought, you know, it didn't have that much violence, to be honest with you. Like, there was some violence in it,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
it wasn't as much as I'm sure some people were expecting.
yeah.
But the violence, the way it was displayed, it was not comic book style. It was
Whoa.
just mad gritty.
I heard that part
very
because
gritty. So even though there wasn't a lot of it, what was in there made up for the fact that there wasn't a lot of it because it was so gritty.
Yeah.
But as far as changing anything, you can't touch somebody's work and just say, "Oh, I'm going to go do this
Right.
to it."
Yeah.
I love Joaquin Phoenix. I think he makes great selections in the movies that he chooses,
Yeah.
and he's an underdog actor for me. There's certain guys that I'm just like, I root for them to be A-listers because they're not cookie cutter. They're not your
Mhm.
typical A-listers.
Yeah.
And he's very different in the way he looks and the way
He's like
chooses
Johnny
his
Depp.
roles.
let me ask you this:
Mhm.
if they gave you, all right, we want to come out with a Joker movie, would you have taken that direction, or would you have
Mm.
gone more comic book?
Nah, I think what they did with it was perfect. I think that.
No, I'm saying
it
you
was a good
personally,
direction.
just you. Like they'd be, oh, we want a Joker movie. We want you to write it, and
Yeah, what would you do?
like
would you
what,
do
what
more
angle
comic
of
book
that character
or more
would you
realism?
feel? Like
Honestly, I'm not a comic book guy, not a comic book nerd. I'm just not. I respect it, but I'm always the guy asking questions. Okay, I just saw that deleted scene at the end of Marvel movie. What does that mean? I have no idea
Yeah.
who that guy was. The only time
Yeah.
I recognized something when I saw Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
At the end of one
You're
of
like,
those
oh, that's
movies.
Howard.
I was like, oh wow, Howard,
There's Howard
the
the
Duck.
Duck.
I'm waiting for that Howard the Duck movie.
That again showed his age. man. Again,
Hey, I'm
that's your
familiar
own
with
fault
Howard
at
the
this
I'm
Duck.
still
point.
waiting for the Goonies.
The Goonies.
Re-
yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be
Reboot.
rebooted for
Reboot,
sure.
of
That's
course.
a classic,
Of
bro.
course, they're waiting.
But nah, I wouldn't have done. I mean,
But they're gonna mess
I
it
wouldn't
up.
have done nothing with that.
No. Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Do you consider it a masterpiece yourself?
I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but it was definitely very good.
Okay.
You know,
shots fired. Nah.
Yeah, I don't have
It's just,
gunshots.
you know,
I don't.
that.
I think this is it.
I'll
They
tell you
coming
what,
for you.
Joaquin
There it is.
Phoenix
Joaquin
will
Phoenix.
not come back.
Really?
He will not come back. He's not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
No.
He's not
And
that-
he intentionally chose this
Yeah.
role because it's not connected to any universe
Mhm.
because he doesn't want to play the role.
Replay the
again.
role.
Once
Wow,
he's done
it's-
with it, he's done. And that's a shame because I loved him.
Yeah.
Like I
But it's
thought
more
he
legacy.
Yeah.
To walk away.
amazing.
True. It is. Yeah. That's
Like,
how he moves.
That's gonna be a staple movie.
Yeah.
But when they call about Joker, this is gonna be a Joker that they're gonna bring up. Heath Ledger definitely
do you
is a
think?
dope one as
do you
well,
think he's a
obviously.
better?
Yeah, that's
Do you think he's the best Joker right now?
Man, it's a different kind.
it's
but
That's a compliment.
I'ma
What-
say-
What do you mean?
I'm-
Come
I'm-
on. You gotta.
yeah,
you gotta.
I'm gonna say right now because of the fact that one he's here, so he could play the role again if he wanted to.
Don't make sense.
He's got
of
to
it
lose
like
all that
that.
weight again. He gained the
And-
weight that he lost.
And
That's-
I'm saying he can dive into it further.
Did he just say that?
He can
Dude.
dive into it further.
Which one is
That was a
better?
cheap
That's
shot.
all I want. I didn't ask for
I
all
think
that.
he was better.
He said he's
I don't
here
know.
so he can
You think he was better?
I
make a
think
part
he's
two.
better, yeah.
Okay.
I think if he had been in the Christopher Nolan version, he maybe wouldn't have been as impactful. as
You
think
Heath
so?
Ledger. It's just a different dynamic.
It was
The
a
way that
different
he
style,
looks,
too.
a different style.
True.
You know, he's
It was a whole
wiry, and
different-
he's grimy, and that worked for this. But
Right.
For that would have been a different take on it.
Don't
Yeah.
don't spoil it for me, but I can't even ask it. 'Cause what else? You guys spoiling it? But do they-
What's your question so we can tell you we're not
No,
gonna spoil
no.
it?
All right.
Just ask
We'll
the
watch
question.
it.
Wow.
We'll watch it and we'll
Do
come
they
Ask
back.
the
keep
question.
it? Okay. Do they keep it DC Universe, not just Joker? Like, do they open
They
the
connect
universe?
it.
Do
They connect it.
Yeah, they
for-
connect the actual story. Like,
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I wasn't
That's
gonna
all.
spoil anything.
but that's
I know. I
something
just
that-
want to know, like, they took a different approach on it, right? Like,
no, there's certain elements that was weird. That you know what I'm saying. I think you know where I'm going with that.
Like at the end.
Like no, the connection.
Now we're gonna spoil
yeah.
it.
There was certain
Now they're
weird-
gonna kill it.
There were
Yeah,
certain
my
weird
bad.
connections. I was just like, that's not comic.
There's
But-
a scene, and this hopefully doesn't give anything away, but there's a scene where he becomes one with who he's become,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
main character.
Yeah.
And I remember that at that moment, there's a song that plays that I wouldn't have chosen as the song.
there you go.
That's one thing.
Yep.
That's the only thing that I was like, it was.
Well,
I
it
see what they were
connects-
trying to do.
Don't make no
connects with
sense.
The other character.
What
That's
was
Is that
it?
what
why.
that is? It was that.
Was it,
Hey. It's like a football song that they play at the
Oh,
stadium.
that song. Yeah.
And it was at
yeah.
that moment, but then they went away from that song and then did something else with it. But anyway, my point about that scene was that when I saw him do that, I promise you, I felt like everybody who's ever played Joker came
Merged.
together
Whoa.
into one guy. Like
What?
there's a guy named
Telling you, bro.
something Romero. He's like the
Ooh-wee.
first Joker
Yeah.
from back in the TV version.
Yeah.
He's a Latino guy. I want to say Angelo Romero, but I think that's our sound guy from church.
Dang. The sound guy from our church
But
played the first
his last name
Joker.
was definitely
reminds me of the
Romero. His,
Joker.
his last name. So he popped
All I
into
see
my
is his
mind
face
at
with
that
the clown.
moment.
Like
And then
this.
Heath Ledger, and then even the comic book versions. Like I felt like there was this.
They all.
like, he embodied it with his movements in
What?
that one moment, and I was like, oh. I was, like, a
Ooh,
little
it was like
creeped out by it.
demonic a little bit.
A little
Like
bit, yeah.
ooh.
Caesar
He was a
Romero?
little demonic.
Caesar Romero.
Yeesh.
Caesar Romero.
Wow.
So you really did name the sound guy at your church.
His name was Angel Romero.
Shout out to him.
there he
Shout
is
out
right
to
there.
Angel
Someone's
Romero.
gonna be like, "Yo, bro, you said I look like the Joker? That's foul, bro."
That's what's up, man. I'm excited to see it, bro. I definitely want to check it out, man.
Yo, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Then we'll revisit.
I think it's yeah. Then we'll-
We'll do a recap.
We'll
You know
do
what?
a
I don't know what you
recap.
guys were talking about.
That
That
song
was
was perfect,
whack.
Louis. That song was perfect.
That was whack. Oh man, let me see. They said something else in here too about that. Not just the people who were like feeling a certain like they weren't just talking about the people that would be triggered by it. They were talking about that there's an actual community that that finds. Let me see. Maybe you guys are in the mental health business, so there's a community out there that actually finds solace in the Joker's angry lone. This is from an article on, I think it's CNN. Sorry, don't quote me on this. It ain't about the facts. But there's a crew out there called Clown Cells, like an actual community that relates to the Joker and
I'm sure.
finds like
That's-
solace
I'm sure.
in his, I don't know, ideology and the way that he thinks about things.
That's inevitable.
There's a community of people that dress up like dogs.
Yeah.
True facts.
They have
True
parades
facts.
and stuff.
So those are probably the people that they're talking about.
They
like,
spend
you know what I
hundreds
mean?
of
That might
dollars
be
on their
triggered by
masks
something
and
like that, you know?
costumes. Like, yeah,
People
they
who want
live
to give
like
in to
dogs.
that. Yeah.
Legit.
Wait, it's a lifestyle.
It's a
Well, it's-
lifestyle,
I mean,
bro.
Okay.
So
Like,
this
there's
is
a community of that.
I think that's called.
Doganism.
Is it dogging? I thought it was.
no. Are you
I'll
serious,
just make
bro?
that
That
I
sounds
totally
good though.
just
That
made
sounds
that
good.
up.
Is that it?
Doganism. I totally made that up. I really don't know what
I
it's
think
called.
it's called petting.
Is it?
I think
really?
it is called petting.
Petting. Don't ask me.
Actually
I know that.
sounds-
Yeah.
I watch a lot of internet.
Yeah, man. Them
Louis, man, we'll
documentaries
talk
be
after,
getting
bro.
me.
Yeah,
We're
man.
praying for you, brother.
Yo, it's
Oh,
crazy, man. These
That's
people out
crazy.
there, and it's
As
not
part of
even
my
like
calling, I should be
sexual or
informed.
anything.
So
it's just
what are
they
you?
living like dogs.
Google that.
No, don't Google that. All right, cool. Thank you for that. So hey,
Would you
Bizzy.
write dog people?
Busy. What do you think about people who latch on to like movie characters or cartoon characters the way that they do, like when with this kind of level where they actually have a community that find solace in these characters.
Well,
Like, is that common? Do you see that? Like, is this like a thing of like worship? Like, is this what they worship? Like, I picked that. That's what I relate to the most. Like, that's what I idolize. That's what I want to be. I want to.
It's a way to, like, in a way, like, condone certain behaviors and stuff like that too. Like, oh, I can relate to them. So, you know what I mean? So it's. I'm not saying that they all do it, but in a way, we can all relate to a certain character, like in a movie or whatever, or like when we take kids where we work, we can take them to the movies and then talk to them afterwards and say, hey, which character
You
do
take
you
it
relate to?
You taking him to the Joker?
But I mean, if you think about it, if you really think about it, like most of these movies,
I don't take them to the movies. Period. To be honest,
most of these movies are always coming from a real place. You know what I'm saying? And they do that for a reason, because they want some sort of connection with their audience.
Yeah,
they want people to relate. They want people
to the
be like,
characters.
"Yo, I feel that." And if you see this movie, you'll see a lot of people are going to be able to connect to this dude. Not just the insane, not just the people who are psychotic, like regular people.
Is that the proper terms, guys? Help my brother out.
You said it's not about the facts, right?
You saying about the facts.
Well,
right?
I mean,
so whether that was a diagnosis or
it's not for the psychos out there.
But I'm just saying, like, they really highlight the things that everyday people go through, but they also show that not everybody can handle the things that everybody goes through. You know what I'm saying?
Like those people
there's trauma.
Yeah,
that group of people that relates to the Joker, like, you're not exempt from being held accountable. We can't say nothing to the Joker. Like, he's a fictional character.
And to come down hard on the makers of the film would be unfair.
Yeah,
because any film could have that impact.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Film.
I was kind of telling Gil the same thing.
We were joking.
I was
about
like,
that.
why are these dudes tweaking out about the Joker? They got like Freddy, Jason, all these like massacres out there. I'm like, they're flipping out about the Joker, man.
And
what in the world?
The most
this is gonna trigger everyone. I'm like the chopped up over
Heath
here.
Ledger.
Like,
he's like, you drop a little bomb and whoa, they go crazy.
Goodness, man.
Yo, it's legit. They have all these crazy horror films, and then they're like, the Joker's coming out. They're like, oh my god.
Oh no,
there's gonna be mass shootings.
We need to be careful with this one.
So where are the angry children eating clowns crews?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a dude eating children. Like, that's disturbing. And there was nobody like, oh my god,
nobody's flipping
this is
out.
going to incite
everyone.
riots.
Oh, that's fine. Take them to the.
And
it's all good.
They had people that were in the movie
Joker
that were suffering from mental illnesses
You're crazy.
as well.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, oh, but he didn't have mental illness. Yes, it did. Just like the Joker did. So what is the difference between a killer clown that is messing with people that have mental illness to kill people compared to a guy who has mental illness and kills people?
Like, I don't get it. Maybe. Go ahead, man.
I was talking to one of the kids, and he's 15, and he went to go see the Joker recently and found it boring. Like, he expected, like, that typical Joker, like,
yeah, mass murdering.
And then he told me he went to go see it, and he loved it.
Because it's more cartoony, man.
Exactly. It's not about entertainment.
That's it's catered also to millennials. Like, they're trying to capture a new audience. You can tell by the way they redid the film. They changed a lot of elements from the original It. A lot of things they didn't mention. Huh?
You watched it?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched them all.
I don't.
But it wasn't it wasn't nowhere near as crazy as like the original.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like the original.
I didn't know they changed it. Like,
oh yeah, they changed a lot. I mean, for the most part, they sticked to the core, I guess, of it. But there's a lot of details in the story that were very different from the original.
What are you talking about? It?
Well, in It, yeah.
Okay.
You know who puts me on to all the movies?
Who?
This man, right?
Louie?
He'd be like, you haven't seen that movie? And I'll go over to his house and he'll just put it on.
Pulp Fiction, and he's like, nah, I never seen that movie.
Oh,
what?
I saw it now. Okay, I saw it.
That's all right.
I saw it with Louie.
Huh? What did you think?
It was good. It was good. I liked it. Or do you guys want me to like go over the top?
No.
Y'all want me to laugh? And
yo, my favorite part still is the Royale with cheese.
Royale.
What's the one that we saw?
Royale with cheese.
by Quentin Tarantino, the one that he just
Yeah,
the last one he
movies,
did. What was it called?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah,
go
yeah,
see
yeah,
that.
that's the
Just
new
see
one.
that.
I haven't seen that.
No, I have not seen that.
I want
No.
to see it. Though. I don't know. Is it good?
Do you want to see it?
Is it
It's been
good?
out for a
If you're
long time.
if you're a fan of his, you'll enjoy it.
It's just weird,
leave it
like
there.
that. Even the trailers, I don't understand
Yeah.
it. So that's why I haven't seen it yet. But it's one of those movies like I want to see it.
He's notorious. Quentin Tarantino's notorious for not wanting people to know anything about it
Mm.
until you go see it. So the trailers are always never going to make sense because he wants you to see it. And
Experience it. Go to
Yeah,
it.
all
and
his trailers are
experience it.
always weird. It's always
What do
like
you mean?
quick, fast.
Yeah.
You know, something happens, and
What,
you're
it's just-
like, "What I just
What?
watch?" It's usually like this is Quentin Tarantino's new movie, and the whole thing is like. That's it. That's the commercial. And you're like,
Okay,
what?
wait.
All right.
I thought
gonna
this
go
was
see
a movie. All I saw was somebody open a can of soda and drink it.
All he told me was,
And then
This
at the
movie-
end of the
You see?
commercial,
You see, you have to cater to different kind of
That's right.
people. With
December
Gil, you need
2nd.
to show like the whole movie,
and then
in
explain the movie
trailer,
at the end.
and then at the end,
no, but at
have
least show me something.
have the
Like
cliff notes at the subtitle.
his
And Gil is-
commercials are
Gil is
not
fine.
even about the film.
He wants to know the whole movie in the trailer. He wants
Yes, he wants to see.
and
the
there are
beginning
plenty of trailers
yeah.
like that. You know,
Yeah,
you watch the
there
trailers. Wow,
are.
that was a good
It's
movie.
like an 8-minute trailer.
I'm glad I just
There
watched the
are.
trailer. I just saved myself $13.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Oh,
But
my
you can't
goodness.
lie. You can't tell me that when you guys go to the movie theaters, just before they show the actual film, those trailers be like, yeah.
Oh, I love trailers.
I love trailers.
I love trailers.
I do
It's part of
too.
the experience for me.
Yeah, I do too. Like I rush to the movie
I
theater
actually
just
get
to
mad
watch the trailers. Like,
if I miss the
let's not
trailers.
miss those trailers.
Anybody
man.
get teary eyed for a trailer? For a movie?
I have
I
once.
have not.
I have
I have
Come
not.
clean tonight.
One time.
Really? Get out of here.
Yeah,
what
man.
what trailer is it?
one time.
Toy Story 3?
We're going
I
to play it
can't
live.
think of-
We gonna play it. Like, yo,
wanna
we
see
can
Louie cry
actually
today.
play the trailer
Tonight.
if we actually had it. But what
I
trailer
can't
was it?
remember.
I gotta
can't
know.
remember. But there's been some. My wife always turns to me and checks me. Are you crying right now? No. What are you talking about?
The trailer
manly.
for...
I'm manly. Okay, have you cried for any of the Toy Stories? Real talk.
Yo.
Oh, yeah,
part
that's a
three.
real question?
I
That's
never
a real
did.
question.
No, I have not.
The one
I
with the
never
bear
did.
And I
the
love...
garbage truck bear.
I'm a
number three.
fan.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I wasn't
Come on.
expect- when he gives away all the toys to
Yes.
the next kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was crying. I cried in Up, like that first.
Okay, but that's
Viejito scene
different, man.
In the very beginning.
Oh,
like
look
that,
at Gil.
that first
That's
8 minutes.
Gil's like, wait a minute.
That's a lifelong
like, hold on.
love, man.
And
That's
in
a
8
long
minutes,
love.
like right in the
For
beginning,
real.
right in the beginning
Yeah.
of the movie.
No joke.
Wow. Gil,
But,
break it down, man.
Break what down?
Why'd you cry?
For
happened?
Up?
Yeah.
Dude, man, you don't see the beautiful love
Go
that they
ahead.
have, man. They
Nah,
live
you
their
know-
whole life
You know
from
what movie-
young little spring
Yeah.
chickens
No, I got
all the
you.
way to old,
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And
he's
then like
alone.
he passes, and
Yeah.
I mean, she passes, and now he's alone and misses
Yeah, that
her.
part's there.
Like
Yeah.
that whole thing,
But they had a long life together.
You know what movie got me?
it's crazy.
Still,
Yes,
every time,
tearjerker.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta,
Every
you still gotta
single
go to
time.
the obvious. Like,
Hey, I'm trying to
Come
share.
on.
Yo, facts.
he's trying to share.
When
I
he's
don't,
Why you
I don't
shaming
cry
that?
at
Why
Toy
you
Story
shaming
and
his
talking
share,
about
man?
animation.
I'm not crying about animation. They don't have feelings.
Okay, you telling
Come
me
on,
you didn't
man.
cry
That
for
bear.
Lion King when Mufasa died? You ain't got
Maybe
no
when I
heart.
was 3.
Okay, but you cried, man.
Come
Dang.
on, he's too hard. Bizzy's
Nah,
too hard,
nah.
man.
It's not.
He ripping
but I-
off of his blood
And for Jesus too. Like, what?
and Jesus
For
too.
Jesus,
Oh
too.
wait, don't
And
forget.
Jesus, too.
I only cry for Jesus.
Oh dang!
When he watches Passion of the Christ. He takes
When
a
he
selfie.
watches Passion of the
Takes a
War
selfie
Room.
and he posts it.
I cried during War Room.
War
Oh,
Room.
that's it. That's it. Oh, that's
Dang.
just, that's the
And all
clip.
of the Medea movies.
All
Every
of
single
them.
one.
All of them.
Every single one.
You need to repent.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Yo, speaking of emotional moments, you guys see this clip? Botham's brother. Let's play it.
Oh yeah.